All right, today we are going to do something a little corporate but deeply personal. We are managing up to our inner critic. You know the voice in your head that sounds like a toxic project manager who read the four agreements once? It's like Regina George popping in your head when you're trying to get things done. Or like that middle manager who never gives you praise, but always does follow up at 2 a.m. It reminds you of every tiny mistake, every typo that you made in 2019, and somehow it thinks it's helping. Like, really? Just shut up, Regina. But here's the thing, the inner critic isn't evil. In fact, they think they're trying to help. But they're not really helping, are they? They're just offering some vague, unprocessed feedback that makes us spiral. So today, we're going to treat that inner critic like any other difficult stakeholder. We are going to manage them. So, why do we even need to manage the inner critic? Well, let's be real. This voice is constantly hanging over us, right? It pops up when you're trying to get stuff done, and all it does is make you second guess your every decision. I mean, if I had $1 for every time I've let the critic talk me out of something, I could retire by now. But here's the deal, criticism is fine as long as it's useful and actionable. And guess what? The inner critic does not really deliver on that. It's more like vague feedback that just makes you feel worse without any actual value. And honestly, if we don't manage that feedback, it lingers in the back of our heads, pulling us down. We are not learning from it, we are just letting it drag us into a cycle of self doubt. That is where this system comes in. We are going to turn that criticism into something actionable. And we are going to do it using Notion because, well, I'm on my computer all the time, and so I might as well use the tools that keeps me organized and actually get revisited. So why am I always doing this in Notion? Well, when I write something in a journal, I tend to close it, forget about it, and never go back to it. Even when I go back to the journal, I start on a new page and never flip the page back. But with Notion, I have a template. It's a living document that I can go back to whenever I need. It is like a bookmark for my digital desk. I have created a space where I can track my thoughts and actually use them. You could use this template, or you could set up a system that works for you based on what we go through here. Whatever helps you keep the process visible and accessible. Now, let's create that stakeholder profile for your inner critic. Think of this like a project management template, but instead of managing a product, you are managing that voice inside your head that's constantly nitpicking everything you do. Here's how we are going to do it. First, we are going to create a simple stakeholder profile. This is going to help you understand where your inner critic is coming from and why they keep interrupting you. Here's how we are going to set this up. Give your inner critic a name. Mine is Regina George from Mean Girls. Yours could be some other main character, but for me, it's Regina George. Regina George really nails it. She is the self-appointed head of quality assurance for my life. Seriously, this person thinks they know everything. They are excellent at spotting typos and every little mistake that I make. Their main weaknesses are that they're mean and vague. They're generally passive aggressive and shows up at 2 a.m. They want me to be better without actually giving me actionable goals. Why are we doing this? By naming and categorizing these traits, we separate ourselves from the voice. This is no longer you being self-critical, it's just Regina being Regina. By defining it like this, we stop seeing it as a personal flaw and start seeing it as something we can manage. Now we are going to act like the manager we are. Your critic is going to throw some vague feedback at you, probably something like this. You're trying too hard, that was cringy. The goal here is to respond, not react. Here's the framework and how to use it. First, I document what happened to trigger the critic. This could be as simple as me posting a video or missing a deadline. It's important to be specific about what set off that internal commentary because sometimes we get caught up in the emotional reactions without even knowing why. Then I write down what the voice said. What did Regina George actually tell me? Did she say something like, you're trying too hard or you're lazy? Writing it down helps me hear that voice more clearly. It's like transcribing a meeting with a difficult stakeholder. You get to see their words, not just the emotions that they make you feel. Now comes the key part. Is it true? I take a moment to ask myself what the inner critic said is accurate. This is where I evaluate if it's a real concern or something that's partly true or entirely false. For example, when I post a video, the critic says, "That's cringe." I ask myself, is that really true? Or is it just my judgment acting up? The next step is crucial. What did I actually need from that criticism? Did I need support, encouragement, or just an app? Writing this down helps me clarify what my emotions need. Often, my critic is just pointing out something that needs a little kindness, not harsh judgment. Finally, I create a kinder, truer version of this feedback. This is the moment where I reframe the critic's words into something that serves me better. For example, when the critic says, "You're trying too hard," my reframe might be, "Trying is good. Trying means that I care." Instead of letting the voice knock me down, I turn it into an opportunity to grow. Why are we doing this? This isn't about shutting down your inner critic, pretending it doesn't exist. It's about understanding the feedback and putting it into perspective. When you write it down, you step outside the noise and look at the criticism logically. It's like you're taking a meeting with yourself and turning it into something productive. And there you have it. You just managed your inner critic. Here's the thing, they are not your enemy. They're just a mismanaged stakeholder who thinks they're the CEO. But guess what? You're in the big chair now. So don't delete the voice, just deprioritize it. Tell it, "Thanks for the feedback. It's been logged and it's going to get worked on." You can grab your free Notion template below. Subscribe if this helped in any way. And next time your inner critic shows up uninvited, you have the agenda ready.